Clear your schedule for the next year. Faith on the big screen is about to get epic, and you have a front row seat. We're talking about Historical Giants, a tour that shook the internet, and the sequel you've all been waiting for. Ready? Let's begin.
Triumph of the Heart.
First on our list is a film that begins where most stories end. Many know the name Saint Maximilian Kolbe, the Polish priest who stepped forward in Auschwitz, offering his life to save another man. Triumph of the Heart opens the moment the door to the starvation bunker slams shut, and it dares to stay there for 14 hellish days. Inside, 10 condemned men face a darkness that invites them towards suicide and murder. One prisoner declares flatly, "God is dead." Watching them is the SS official Karl Fritsch, who has a single goal. I want to watch this priest's will to live break. This film presents a Kolbe, an exhausted, aching human, wrestling with his own fear and self-doubt. Still, he persists, leading the men in prayer and song to forge a brotherhood from their suffering. This raw story comes from a deeply personal place. Director Anthony D'Ambrosio battled an undiagnosed medical condition that destroyed his life. His relationship ended, he couldn't sleep, and the darkness closed in until he lost his faith and no longer wanted to live. It was Kolbe's story of choosing love in the face of unimaginable pain that gave him a way forward. Triumph of the Heart is the result, a stark confrontation between faith and suffering, built on the truth that love is the one thing that can never be taken from us. Triumph of the Heart opens September 18th.
Soul on Fire.
I make movies about miracles, says director Sean McNamara, and continues, John O'Leary is a walking miracle. Get ready for Soul on Fire, the extraordinary true story of a man who survived the impossible. In 1987, a 9-year-old John O'Leary was burned over 100% of his body in a house fire. Doctors gave him a 1% chance to live. He ultimately lost most of his fingers, and much of his body was left disfigured with scars. In the hospital, through all the pain, his mother asked him a question. John, do you want to die? It's your choice. He answered, I want to live. That was the start of the rest of his life. He endured an unbelievable road to recovery, supported by family, faith, and his idol, Baseball Hall of Fame announcer Jack Buck, played by William H. Macy. The movie was even shot in John's hometown of St. Louis, in many of the exact locations where these events occurred. John says his story is not about me. It is about community. It's about prayer, it's about God, it's about hope. Shaped by this struggle, he became an inspirational speaker. And this film is a reminder of what's possible when we say yes to life, even after the fire. Soul on Fire inspires audiences on October 10th.
Dot Connor, Webtective.
Next up, a movie for the family that proves your first week of high school can be the most dangerous mission of all. Meet Dot Connor, Internet Sleuth, or Webtective. On the eve of her first day, she receives a frantic phone call from her father right before he vanishes, plunging her into an adventure she never expected to face. Left with a series of cryptic clues, Dot and her friends Michaela and Alex are launched into an urban treasure hunt. While her captured father Grant exudes confidence that his favorite Webtective is on the case, Dot and her friends race through the city. They must evade school officials and cross paths with dangerous Russian thugs to uncover a data drive with details on Russian sleeper agents. This is a full-blown espionage mystery, all while Dot navigates a rocky start to high school. The situation escalates when a Russian agent at the school is exposed and Dot is kidnapped. This adventure pushes Dot to her absolute limit and forces her to discover an inner strength through the truth of Philippians 4:13. Born from its creator's desire for quality family entertainment, it's a fun, hilarious mystery designed for families with biblical values to enjoy together. Webtective cracks the case in theaters on September 19th.
The Senior.
From the producer of The Rookie and Invincible comes The Senior, the remarkable true story of Mike Flint. Portrayed by Michael Chiklis, Flint is a 59-year-old man who feels the weight of unfinished business. Burdened by deep hurts from a toxic childhood, he returns to his alma mater to finish his senior year of college football. Nearly 4 decades after his uncontrolled temper got him kicked off the team, he's back for the family he fractured and for the ending he still believes is possible. His wife reminds him, "We're your team too," grounding his struggle on the field and his life at home. As Flynn himself says, we're not defined by our success. We're defined by our regrets. His path to redemption is not a straight line. The film shows his raw humanity. Even after a come-to-Jesus moment, he has his worst outburst toward his wife. The true turning point happens when he discovers his father's Bible and a written prayer for forgiveness inside. That discovery finally allows him to forgive his father and himself. As the real Mike Flynn says, this is a movie about love, God, and family, a reminder that it's never too late for a redemption story. The Senior comes in theaters September 19th.
Dude Perfect, the Hero Tour.
Alright, get ready for the biggest trick shot of the year. The 5 college friends from Texas who built a comedy empire with over 61 million subscribers are taking over the big screen. Following their completely sold-out 20-city live tour, the dudes heard from thousands of families who couldn't make it, so they decided to do something epic. In the words of Kobe Cotton, if you can't come to us, we'll bring the show to you. Bigger, louder, and with a few surprises you won't see anywhere else. The film is packed with action-packed battles, classic Dude Perfect segments, exclusive backstage access, and never-before-seen moments with guest star cameos. It's a massive cinematic event. With movie ticket sales down, theater chain Regal is partnering with the group, hoping Dude Perfect can be the next Taylor Swift by bringing their huge, passionate fan base together. The film chronicles their nationwide tour, designed for the tens of thousands of screaming families who love sports, friendly competition, and watching the impossible become possible. This is your chance to see Tyler, Kobe, Cody, Corey, and Garrett up close like never before. Dude Perfect, the Hero Tour launches into theaters on September 26th.
Truth and Treason.
Truth and Treason is based on the true story of a hero most of the world has never heard of, Helmuth Hubener, portrayed by Ewan Horrocks. As World War II rages, the German teenage boy is forced to confront this terrible truth. When even his trusted bishop urges obedience to the Nazi regime, he begins to question everything. The conflict becomes deeply personal after his Jewish friend is taken away. In a nation consumed by fear, Helmuth decides he must act. He secretly listens to banned radio broadcasts and launches his own resistance, a desperate, defiant attempt to expose the truth. This story was so powerful that after filming began, the project was switched from a limited series to a feature film. Filmed on location in Lithuania by the same services behind Chernobyl and Stranger Things and featuring a score from the composer of The Notebook, this is a story with immense cinematic scale. It is described as a riveting, edge-of-your-seat film about one boy's stand against the deadliest threat the world has ever faced. The director calls it an incredible story of heroism made for the biggest screen possible, designed to leave audiences thrilled, inspired, and profoundly moved. Truth and Treason begins its limited theatrical release on October 17th.
Sarah's Oil.
Get ready for one of the most remarkable and little-known true stories in American history, based on the well-researched book Searching for Sarah Rector. This is Sarah's Oil, the story of how faith in the unseen turned an 11-year-old girl into one of the nation's first female African-American millionaires. In the early 1900s, Sarah Rector, a young girl of African-American and Creek Indian heritage, faced racial prejudice and economic hardship in Oklahoma Indian Territory. Her family was allotted 160 acres of land that everyone dismissed as barren and worthless. Yet they paid taxes they could barely afford, holding on to hope. In 1913, that faith was rewarded. An oil gusher was discovered, producing an income equivalent to about $8,000 a day, which makes 11-year-old Sarah a millionaire. But her journey was just beginning. Greedy oil sharks closed in, trying to exploit her youth and race to steal her fortune. With the help of her family and honest Texas wildcatters, Sarah had to fight. The producers at Kingdom Story Company say this story ignites a rush of hope, a powerful real-life testimony of faith in God's provision and the courage to stand strong against those who would exploit the vulnerable. Sarah's Oil strikes it rich in theaters on November 7th.
Zero AD.
From Alejandro Monteverde, the director behind the historic success of Sound of Freedom, comes the epic biblical thriller Zero AD. This film explores the darker side of the Nativity, the part of the story often glossed over during Christmas, the massacre of the innocents. A ruthless King Herod, fearing the prophecy that threatens his rule, orders a bloodthirsty pursuit to find and kill the child. This forces a young mother, Mary, and her husband, Joseph, into a desperate battle for survival. This is an old-fashioned religious epic of the kind Hollywood rarely makes anymore. Shot on location in Morocco, it features a star-studded cast including Sam Worthington and Ben Mendelsohn. In a stunning move, the actor who famously portrayed Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, Jim Caviezel, is now unrecognizable as the man trying to kill him. This is a poignant retelling of a historical narrative, a thriller where faith is tested and courage is forged, designed to keep you on the edge of your seat. The movie arrives in theaters on December 19th.
The Light of the World.
And finally, our last pick. The animated Light of the World chronicles the life of Jesus through the eyes of a teenage apostle John. The film puts us in the sandals of the people of Judea. Young John has heard stories of a mighty king, a Messiah who will come and crush the Romans. His own father Zebedee is a skeptic who believes no one is coming to save them. The movie powerfully illustrates the central paradox of Jesus' ministry. Everyone was expecting a warrior, but they got a carpenter who washed feet. He didn't fight the Romans. He commanded his followers to love their enemies. The film's core message is that God rarely shows up in the way you think he will. With a beautiful 2D animation style that harkens back to classics like The Prince of Egypt, the filmmakers present the good news with artistry and humor for a new generation. They chose the hand-drawn style because its subtle flaws feel human, a fitting way to tell the story of the one unflawed person to ever walk the earth. This is a film with a heart that beats for Jesus. And the best part? The wait for this one is officially over. The movie just hit theaters, and you can see it today. Your calendar should be full now. You have a front row seat to see the impossible trick shots of Dude Perfect. From ancient thrillers to modern day miracles, these are the cinematic events that will define the year ahead in faith and film. The stories are coming. Which one are you marking down first? Let us know in the comments below which movie you're most excited to see on the big screen. We love hearing from you, and your comment might be the reason someone else discovers their new favorite film. If this preview helped you plan your movie nights, do us a huge favor and hit that like button. It tells us we're on the right track. And to make sure you never miss a review, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. Don't go just yet. For more amazing movies you can watch right now, check out this video right here on your screen. Click it, and we'll see you over there.